Buenos días. Good morning. Bienvenidos a la Congregación Unitariana Universalista de Asheville. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Asheville. Queremos que sepan, we want you to know, que quien quiera que seas, that whoever you are, aquí en el santuario, here in the sanctuary, or online o en la línea red, queremos que sepan que de donde quiera que vengas, we want you to know that wherever you come from, a quien quiera que ames, whoever you love, cualquiera su teología, whatever your theology, you are valuable and worthy of love. Eres valioso y digne de amor. Y eres bienvenida aquí. And you are welcome here. This morning, we are going to be exploring that dance between joy and suffering. And you will be hearing different readings. We will be doing our joys and sorrows ritual, and you will be hearing a story about a community that has had to juggle that suffering and has found opportunities for joy. So I am very glad to be back from vacation and to be here this morning. I'm Reverend Claudia Jiménez, and I serve this congregation as Minister of Faith Formation. And our team this morning, our TK Browning, our worship associate, Les Downs, our music director, Steve Lapointe, will offer a few pieces at the piano, and we couldn't do this work without our ushers and without our AV tech, Simon Jacobs. So thank you all. Because what we do here is a team effort, and we do it in community. So now I invite you to just take a few breaths and settle your body. Feel the ground, the floor beneath your feet, and let us listen to the gift of our centering music.
Every Sunday we gather, we light our chalice, a symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. Today we begin with the words of Robin Wall Kimmerer. Even a wounded world is feeding us, even a wounded world holds us, giving us moments of wonder and joy. I choose joy over despair. Not because I have my head in the sand, but because joy is a gift. Joy is what the earth gives me daily, and I must return the gift. Now let us sing together. Please rise in body or spirit and join me in singing hymn number 347, Gather the Spirit.
Indeed, we do gather today, and we are seeing some folks coming back that have been away during this time of vacation and slowness of the summer, and we see people coming in with visitors and smiles and friends that are visiting and smiles on their face, and we have visitors with us. So indeed, we do gather with sympathy, with gratitude, with compassion, and with strength. And because we are a people of compassion and a people seeking strength in times of challenge and tribulation, we also make time when we gather to engage in a ritual that honors those joys and those sorrows that we bring with us. And so this morning, we will begin with a musical reflection, and it is a prayer that we offer for everyone, for ourselves and for others. And in this time, when it is easy to dehumanize those who do not think like us, when it is easy to forget the common humanity that we share, I invite you to consider this prayer that we will sing as a possible practice for when those moments knock at the door of your heart. So let us, again, you may remain seated for this. Our musical prayer today. Oh, and I forgot to, thank you, Kim. I was just like so excited to share this prayer that I was going to keep the kids in and have you all pray with us, which, wouldn't be a bad thing. But we know, who can tell me what's happening this summer with the kids? What are y'all doing?
Reading banned books.
Yeah, our kids are reading banned books. So as important as praying together may be, I think we want to send you to read today's banned book. Do we know what today's banned book is?
Skin Like Mine.
Skin Like Mine. That should be an interesting one. So, because faith development happens here and with our children, faith formation, I correct myself, let us sing the children to their classes as you go. And if you are visiting, or even if you are not, you may want to go outside, meet the leaders that are working with the children and youth, and know where you pick up your child. So let us rise in body or spirit and sing. So it may sound a little transgressive to say, okay, now that the children are gone, let us pray, but that's what we're going to do, right? So let's settle again. We got to be joyful in moments like this. So let us settle and let us prepare for this musical prayer, and it's number 1031 in our hymnal, May we be filled with loving kindness. Let us share a moment of silence. So now is the time, as we are gathered in community, where we take a moment to reflect on those joys and sorrows that we bring with us today. So I will add some petals to this vessel with water to represent the joys and celebrations in our lives. And I will add this salt to represent the sorrows that we bring. And I invite you into our ritual of placing a stone in the water to represent those joys and sorrows. And if any of you would like for me to place a stone in the water for you, just please raise your hand and I will do that. So now let us begin our ritual. If you have placed a stone in the water for a joy that you carry in your heart, know that this gathered community rejoices with you. And if your stone was placed for a sorrow, know that you are held in love and care. And we add a final stone for the joys and sorrows not expressed here, and for those who are online and joining us today. Whether together or apart, we are one community in love and in care.
We have a reading now on Joy and Sorrow by Khalil Gibran. He's a Lebanese-American writer, poet, and visual artist. He was also considered a philosopher, although he himself rejected that title, which I love. Then a woman said, "Speak to us of joy and sorrow." And he answered, "Your joy is sorrow unmasked. And the selfsame well from which your laughter rises was oftentimes filtered with your tears. And how else can it be? The deeper that sorrow carves into your being, the more joy you can contain. Is not the cup that holds your wine the very cup that is burned in the potter's oven? And is not the lute that soothes your spirit the very wood that was hollowed with knives? When you are joyous, look deep into your heart, and you shall find it is only that which has given you sorrow that is giving you joy. When you are sorrowful, look again in your heart, and you shall see that in truth you are weeping for that which has been your delight. Some of you say joy is greater than sorrow, and others say, nay, sorrow is the greater. But I say unto you, they are inseparable. Together they come, and when one sits alone with you at your board, remember that the other is asleep upon your bed. Verily you are suspended like scales between your sorrow and your joy. Only when you are empty are you at standstill and balance. When the treasure keeper lifts you to weigh his gold and his silver, needs must your joy or your sorrow rise or fall.
you. So this summer, my partner Steve and I returned to Colombia, where I was born, where we met, and where our daughters were born. It was wonderful to be home, surrounded by mi gente, my people, and the culture that I often feel nostalgia for. We spent time in Medellin, where we took a guided tour of one of its poorest neighborhoods, Comuna 13. And it's built on the hills of the city, a collection of brick and cement houses built on top of each other. Our guide, Lisette, shared the neighborhood's history. She was a child in Comuna 13, overrun by gangs, guerrillas, and drug traffickers during the 1980s and 1990s. These groups used the strategic advantage of height on the hillsides to control the main roads. The community lived with shootouts, straight bullets, la bala perdida, assassinations, and bombings. As the situation deteriorated, the government sent the military to restore order and drive out the guerrillas. The military was successful, but at the cost of human rights and civilian deaths. One facet of the community's dysfunction had been addressed, but violence from the drug trade and the gang warfare continued. But remarkably, in the years that followed, a confluence of community activists and progressive politicians were able to find common ground through a series of actions that surprised everyone and brought a sense of vitality and optimism to the comuna. The community began to share their stories through art and music, to demand government accountability, and to support each other. Community centers were formed to provide youth with alternatives to violence, to drugs, and gangs. Innovative mayors implemented development projects to connect and integrate the isolated communities into the city. Gondolas, or metrocables, were added as an extension of the metro to connect hillside communities with the rest of the city. Parque bibliotecas, library parks, were built on the periphery of the city where the low-income communities were found, and they provided access to computers, educational and cultural programs, and recreational activities in their ample green spaces. In the early 2000s, a new mayor felt that after so much violence in the comuna, it was time to repay the city's historical debt to the community. The city installed a string of escaleras eléctricas. What do you think that is? Escaleras eléctricas. Outdoor escalators to navigate the comuna and reach the city. Because if you saw from the picture, it was very steep and it was very difficult. If you had a mobility issue, if you were an elder, if you were pregnant, it was very difficult to navigate those streets. And so they launched an educational campaign to make the residents aware of the benefits and the risks of this new technology. And they even had to take trips into the city so that people could see what an escalator looked like, because a lot of them didn't know what they were. So this project was inaugurated in May of 2012, and this isn't the best shot, but that orange roof is over one of the escalators, and they built about 6 different escalators going up that hillside. And the government invited neighborhood artists to create murals on the facades of houses along the route where these escalators were. This transformed walls, some with bullet holes, which you can see on some of the murals, into a vehicle for telling the community's history through art. So this slide has the word Orion in it, Orion, and Operación Orión was one of those military incursions that occurred in the community. And then this other slide shows a beautiful mural of Pachamama. Does anybody know who Pachamama is? Some of you know. That's the name that's given to Mother Earth by the indigenous people of the Andes. And then the next slide is actually a mural that was painted on the house where our guide, Lisette, grew up as a child. And so these escaleras eléctricas shifted the mindset of the community as different parts of the neighborhood connected with each other, and children started playing in the streets again, and people started feeling possibility and safety again. So the government's engagement with the community planted the seeds for their leadership and their creativity to just take off. And today, Comuna 13 has become a tourist attraction with grocery stores, souvenir shops, galleries, bars, street theater, and coffee shops, all run by local residents. The tour company that we worked through prioritized bringing community members as tour guides. And during our tour, we saw hip hop performers, listened to rappers, poets, and singers telling their stories and highlighting issues in the community. Walking through the comuna and witnessing the vibrancy and pride of the community and the creativity of the artists provided a sense of optimism and joy. And this slide is a very powerful slide which contrasts the past with the present and is a constant reminder of the community's resilience and its survival using art and ingenuity to rebuild itself as a place of possibility, of love, of beauty, and creativity. Now, we lived in Colombia in the 80s and 90s when Medellin was considered one of the most violent and dangerous cities anywhere in the world. The US Embassy routinely issued advisories to avoid travel to Medellin and to avoid areas like Comuna 13 at all costs. The area that we walked through on a sunny day in late July in 2024 with no worry for our safety was such a contrast to the reality and the fear that we lived in at times when we were living in another part of Colombia, Cali, which also has its own history with violence and drug trafficking. So to see such progress firsthand was uplifting, and it came at a curious moment in the political history of the United States as President Joe Biden announced his departure from the presidential race. Having witnessed the transformation of Medellin, we returned to the United States. And like many, in early July, prior to our trip, we felt a profound dread for what seemed like an inevitable slide into an abyss of lawlessness and looming autocracy. Now suddenly, as we walked through the Miami airport, it felt like a different country, different from the one we left barely 2 weeks before. It was immediately apparent that people, those we know, but also strangers, were energized, joyful, and hopeful that we may yet elect leadership that will support the democratic process and embrace values such as justice, equity, and pluralism that we affirm and promote as Unitarian Universalists. Yesterday morning, I hosted a retreat for our UU Asheville Ministry Council. And there was representation of almost all of our justice ministry teams. Teams that many of you support through your engagement. And they included economic justice, which supports the Beloved Pantry and Saturday Sanctuary, our reproductive justice team, our Pride Plus team, our Community Plate, which is the philanthropic arm of this congregation, the Animal Ministry, You the Vote, and the Liberation Collective, formerly known as the Anti-Racism Immigration Justice Action Group. A long name, and this name change is welcome. But all of that to say, not only was it a productive meeting, but we were also interrupted by a variety of woodpeckers that landed on the tree barks that framed the windows that we used as boards for our Post-it notes during the meetings. But one of the things that we discussed was the importance of being a united force these next 2 months to continue to get out the vote and speak up about the values we want to guide our elected leaders. All the issues that surround justice ministry, all the beliefs that we hold dear as Unitarian Universalists, and all of the things that we care deeply about are on the ballot this November. We are called to educate ourselves about what values and actions candidates are promoting, and vote for candidates who support values that align with our faith. And we are also called to engage in whatever way we can to get out the vote and support the democratic process by being poll watchers, poll workers, phone banking, postcarding, canvassing, and other opportunities created by our nonpartisan partners. Because being nonpartisan does not mean that we do not speak up for that which we value. It does not mean that. But we are not called to get into this sometimes inevitable dance that we do of mocking and dehumanizing those that do not agree with us. And that is the challenge. That is our challenge. How do we push forward the values and the policies, or support the policies that will make it such that everyone can thrive? And how do we do that with joy, with determination, and avoid getting in the trap of being mean-spirited and mocking those who we disagree with? Because if we get curious, everybody has a reason and has life experiences that we do not know of that lead them to the positions that they hold. And our job is not to unpack that for them. Our job is to stay focused on the eye on the prize, right? We want leadership that is going to affirm the values that we hold. And whoever those people are, we need to inform ourselves about their positions, and that's how we want to vote. And we want to encourage everyone that can to vote, because the energy is there, the possibility is there, and I believe in my heart that more people than not care about democracy. More people than not care about pluralism. I'll just share a quick story, going off script here. When I ran for office in Florida, I lived in a very conservative community. And one of the things that I was attacked for, actually two, for being a sexuality educator. Don't vote for her, she promotes promiscuity. And I was also attacked for being a Unitarian Universalist, because those people are a cult. And the op-eds and what was heard were those two things. And I ended up winning by 100 votes. So if people think their votes don't matter, there was a recount and I won by 100 votes. But what I really got away from this, learned from this was, number one, some people came up to me and said, I don't care for your liberal policies, but I could not abide you being attacked for your religion, so I voted for you. And there were people that would come to my office when I was in the school board to talk about an issue who had not voted for me, and when they came and sat with me, they were surprised because they thought I wasn't going to listen to them because they were coming with a different agenda than I was willing to support, but I would listen to them. And so sometimes we stereotype each other, right? That was done to me. I was like this evil person because I was a liberal. And when people got to know me, they realized there's more to her than that. And so I say that because I do know that sometimes it's easy for us to, in our anger, to get meanly self-righteous. What I think we need to do is get joyfully self-righteous and go out there with love and compassion and grace and move forward the values that we hold as Unitarian Universalists.
Preach.
So, in closing, I invite you to consider what your engagement will be. And if you are curious about what those possibilities are, which I doubt any of you are because I know you are all connected, but just in case, there is a bulletin board in Sandburg Hall that has a little strip of paper with a QR code. And if you hold your phone to that QR code, we have been curating a list of all of the events that are happening that you can be a part of. And just know that you don't have to do everything, right? You don't have to look around this room. Look at how many people are in this room. If each of you joyfully does that one thing that calls to you, phone banking, canvassing, whatever, if each of you does one thing, and then on top of that, you invite some friends because it's more fun in groups, wow! If everybody gets engaged in the way that they can, we are not overwhelmed, right? We're not going to do it all, but we do the one thing that we are capable of doing, that we have the bandwidth, and maybe if we do it with friends and make it more fun, I think that together we can make a difference, because it's not just UUs. How many of you have heard of IVAN? Interfaith Voting Action Network. We've got UUs, we've got Quakers, we have our Jewish friends, and just recently we've been joined by someone from the UCC here in Asheville. We are doing this big. It's not just us. We are really reaching out to other faith communities, because across our theologies, we embrace the value of love. Across our theologies, there is goodness, right? We may not agree on some dogmas, and we speak up about that. But when it comes to this one task, we are going to be the people in the history books, right? We are going to be the people when they write about this election. We are the people on whose watch our aspiration for democracy moved forward or it stopped. I believe that's the level, right? The level of what's happening in our country. But like I said, I think more people than not respect what a democracy stands for. So let us not be afraid. Let us not be fearful. Let us joyfully go out there and do the work. And so, what is your engagement going to be? And I leave you with these words from historian and activist Howard Zinn that really speak to me when I get a little like, nah, this isn't going to happen. To be hopeful in bad times is not just foolishly romantic. It is based on the fact that human history is a history not only of cruelty, but also of compassion, of sacrifice, courage, kindness. What we choose to emphasize in this complex history will determine our lives. If we see only the worst, it destroys our capacity to do something. If we remember those times and places, and there are so many where people have behaved magnificently, this gives us the energy to act, and at least the possibility of sending this spinning top of the world in a different direction. And if we do act in however a small way, we don't have to wait for some utopian future. The future is an infinite succession of presents. And to live now as we think human beings should live, in defiance of all that is bad around us, it itself is a marvelous victory. So, beloveds, may we see victory. May we joyfully go out and use whatever time, whatever skills, whatever talent we have to support our democracy and to support each other, because ultimately that will allow for love to be at the center. I know that we can do this. So get your QR code when you leave and figure out who you're going to go out and have fun with. All right. Let that be so. Que así sea.
We're going to sing 1074, Turn the World Around. How many of you know it? You've heard the choir sing it, so it's a little tricky, but we're going to do it. I'm going to lead you through it. Please stand if you're able, or rise in body or spirit, and we're going to do it. And also, we don't want a repeat of last week, right? If you were here last week. So feel free to move a little bit, too. All right, so it has a very short intro, and then you come right in. All right. So...
Nice work. This is a time for introductions. I'll start off by introducing myself. My name is T.K. Browning. I've been attending here at UU Asheville for 2 years now with my co-parent, with some of my polyamorous partners, and my co-parents and my 3 kids. I'm going to be a ministerial intern starting on September 1st. I'm very excited about that. I've 10 years in this process now, trying to become a UU minister, taking it very slow, almost there. I'll be working with Matt as the other intern. I'm very excited. So now is the time that I'm going to invite any visitors to stand and introduce themselves. We have microphones over here. Just stand up. We'll make sure we get to all of you. Raise your hand, and yeah.
This is a student. This exchange student. He's from Finland. He has been here in the United States about a week now, but his English is good. So he'll be going to Asheville High School, and his name is Jonas Rikkonen. Did I say it right?
Rikkonen. Okay. Hello, everybody. My name is Jonas Rikkonen, and I am an exchange student from Finland. Yeah, and yeah. Come talk to me. I don't bite.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Nikki. I've lived in Nashville all my life, and I've been looking for a future home, so I decided on UU. Hi.
Oh, thank you. Hi, my name is Giles. I've lived in Nashville for about 6 months. I moved down here from Newton, Massachusetts, and I've purchased a home in only about a mile from here. So glad to find out about this community.
Hello, my name is Kelly. I'm originally from Hendersonville, but I've moved around a lot, and I just came back to Asheville, and I'm seeking a new faith community. I was just a youth pastor at a Methodist church, and that was cool, but I'm kind of seeking something different, and I think I found it, so thank you guys.
Hi, I'm Penny Koppel. I'm visiting my girlfriend from 5th grade on, Julie, and she invited me to your church, which is just marvelous. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Becky. I'm visiting my dear friends Wilma and Bill Oman. I come once or twice a year, and I live in Western Pennsylvania, which is where they originally lived before they moved to Asheville. Happy to be here.
Hi, I'm Michael. I grew up in a UU community in Williamsburg, Virginia, and I moved to Asheville a couple years ago, so I figured I'd come by.
Cool. I invite everyone who took a chance to say, well, I thank you for taking the chance to introduce yourselves, and invite you to wave at Trevor. He is our connections coordinator. He'd love to meet you after the service. Any questions? I'm happy to talk with you too. I'll be here for a while too. Yeah, one thing you'll learn about me is I get this emotional turn in my voice fairly often, and it's a sign of connection and of care, and I've always made it through. I've never had to stop. Hopefully I can get the announcements. Our announcements run as slides at the beginning of the service up on these screens. Oh, it's me. Hi. If you miss them, refer to Thursday's weekly e-news. It's very lovely, as everything is described there. If you don't receive the e-news, email us at information@uuasheville.org. Our community plate recipient this month is the Poor People's Campaign. You can donate by check, but be sure to write community plate in the memo line. All cash donations will be split with our community plate partner. You can also donate online. We put a QR code up there. That's what I use. It's a very simple way to do it. The work and ministries of this congregation are entirely supported by the generosity of our members and friends. We celebrate your generosity each Sunday with music and thanks. You make us possible, and we give thanks for you. The offering will now be gratefully received. collected. For the gifts of your presence, time, wisdom, and resources, we are grateful. Now we're going to have Justin Timberlake join us. Something I'm really excited about, something I'm going to introduce. I didn't plan this today, but I'm going to ask that we dance a lot more when I'm leading services. And so we're going to start that today. A great start with Justin Timberlake. Feel free to move as your body feels supported in doing so.
People, a nice clap for yourselves. That was awesome. Who says church can't be joyful? You know? And I see those moves out there. Y'all can dance. We definitely need to do more of that. So thank you all for being here today. Thank you all for taking time to contemplate joy and sorrow, and to also dance and feel what you need to feel in your body, because sometimes we live in our heads and we forget about our bodies. So I hope that this week, as you leave this sacred community, you have opportunities for joy, you have opportunities to live into your Unitarian Universalist values, and you figure out what is that thing that you are going to do joyfully on your own or with some friends, so that we can persist in creating a democracy where all can thrive, that is centered in love. I know we can do it. Yes. Okay, so now our tradition is to close with a prayer. Longtime son, and as Marianne Somerville reminded me, it is a prayer that we offer to each other. So let us rise in body or spirit and bless each other as we go forth today. And don't forget, we are having card signing to commute the death penalty. We're sending them to Governor Cooper, so you may do that after worship. So let us bless each other, beloveds. beloved.
for me. This is actually my second internship. Usually, my first internship was in a normal kind of thing. I was in a passport for the MSc in April of the academic internship. Taking the last 5 years off there. Yeah, I'd probably rather stop being an assistant, but you know, little churches are, I mean, denominations are fine. That's fine. There's plenty of assistants. Yeah, there's actually a big shortage in the church right now. Graduates. So it's great for me. Yeah. But there's cool. This is cool. No, I'm going to be flying full-time. I'll start the process of paying for it.
comfortable.